Even though the dining table was already laden with several dishes, I was still busy in the kitchen. Slow-roasted chicken with herbs, pan-seared sea bass, truffle mashed potatoes, corn, and rib soup. I checked the spread one last time. They were all my wife, Victoria Sterling's, favorites. After finishing the last dish, I glanced at my watch and pulled the decanted vintage red wine from the ice bucket. Today was my birthday. On this special day, I wanted to celebrate properly with Victoria. Just as I placed the wine glasses on the table and gripped the corkscrew, Victoria's phone call came through. I have to work late tonight. I won't be coming home for dinner. Her voice was cold, almost devoid of emotion. Before I could say a word, she hung up. I stood there, stunned. The look of anticipation in my eyes instantly plummeted into an abyss of disappointment, as if someone had dumped a bucket of ice water over me in the dead of winter. Victoria didn't seem to remember that today was my birthday. It felt like I was the only one invested in this relationship from start to finish. I sat alone, drinking dull wine and eating the food, constantly trying to comfort myself. My wife was a career-driven power woman who poured all her energy and time in her work, focused solely on promotions and raises, as if that was the only way to prove her worth. Since I married her, I had to be understanding. During the meal, I received a call from my father. "Son, happy birthday. Dad couldn't be there with you. Make sure you eat something good." "Thanks, Dad." Tears instantly welled up in my eyes. Frank was actually my adoptive father, but for all these years, he had treated me as his own. After adopting me, he never married, terrified that his stepmother might mistreat me. I could never repay his kindness in a lifetime. Later, my biological father found me and asked me to return to the family fold, but I refused outright. Even though my biological father was a tycoon with immense wealth, I had depended on Frank for years, and deep down, I considered him my only father. This so-called biological father had never been part of my growth and was a complete stranger in my memories. Frank, however, was very open-minded about it. Not only did he not mind, but he also urged me to return to my biological family. "Son, I think you should consider forgiving your birth father. After all, it wasn't his fault you were kidnapped by traffickers back then. He didn't abandon you on purpose, and he's been looking for you all these years. Besides, I'm useless in this life. I can't give you any substantial help. Your biological father can ensure you never have to worry about money again. Listen to me, go back to him. Dad, we've relied on each other for so many years. In my mind, you're my only father. Suddenly having a biological father pop up is hard for me to accept right now. Let's not talk about this." After hanging up, I finished the entire bottle of wine alone. The flush spread to my neck and my head spun. Feeling my brain hijacked by alcohol, I cleaned up hastily and went to the bedroom to sleep. I didn't know when Victoria came back, or if she came back at all. When I opened my eyes to go to work, there was no sign of her in the house. This had happened before. If the company was too busy, Victoria would sleep at the office. She was currently the HR administrative manager, gunning for the HR director position, so naturally, she was working extra hard. Arriving at the office, I felt a bit relieved when I saw Victoria. She looked radiant, her makeup exquisite. She must have come home to sleep and left very early. You couldn't look that good after pulling an all-nighter at the office. I sat at my desk, about to use the company's internal messenger to ask if she had eaten breakfast, planning to run downstairs and buy her favorite bagels, when I received a formal email from her saying she wanted to meet me in the conference room. Is there something we can't say face-to-face? You have to send an email for a meeting. Walking into the conference room, I found only Victoria there. Seeing her sitting upright with a serious expression, I couldn't help but crack a joke. "This is official company business. Wipe that smirk off your face." Victoria rolled her eyes at me coldly, then cleared her throat. "Okay, just say it straight." I realized something was wrong and dropped the smile. Due to the economic downturn, orders are decreasing. To cut costs and increase efficiency, the company has decided to lay off staff. Victoria paused here, looking straight at me with a hint of regret in her eyes. "Unfortunately, you're on the list for this round of layoffs. Use today to hand over your work. You don't need to come in tomorrow." Being laid off is something many corporate drones face, but I can say with certainty, no one had it worse or more heart-wrenchingly than me. Because the HR manager notifying me of my termination was my own wife, Victoria. "Honey, don't joke." Her words exploded in my mind like a thunderclap, instantly making me dizzy. Recovering from the shock, I looked at her with disbelief. If I was really on the layoff list, my wife couldn't have not known. But she had kept it completely tight-lipped, not revealing a single hint. Just recently, I had led my team to secure a massive project for the company. This project was projected to bring in $10 million in profit. For this big project, my entire team worked crazy overtime for 2 months, from bidding, drafting proposals, handling compliance, to coordinating supplier shipments. Everyone was exhausted. Now, just as the project ended, I was fired, and my wife was the one notifying me. This plot was so absurd, even novels wouldn't dare write it. So I prefer to believe it was a joke. We are at the office, don't get personal. Victoria remained serious, her eyes cold, speaking in a strictly official tone. Also, I'm not joking with you. Looking at her strange expression, I realized the gravity of the situation. Though I didn't want to believe it, I had to face reality. What about the project bonus the company promised our team? What are you talking about? Victoria curled her lip, her eyes full of disdain and mockery. Your entire team is being optimized out. What project bonus would there be? I instantly felt a surge of rage rush to the top of my head. It was obvious the company didn't want to pay that huge bonus. So, the moment the project was done, they burned the bridge. But what made me angry wasn't the company's ruthless operation. The interests of capitalists and employees are naturally opposed. What truly sickened me was my wife's attitude. The person being fired was her husband. Yet not only was she indifferent, but her attitude was completely aligned with the capitalists. I simply couldn't understand her thought process. For the first time, I felt that this woman I had shared a bed with for years was a complete stranger, and I realized this matter was definitely not that simple. There must be severance pay, at least. I forcibly suppressed the anger in my heart and looked at Victoria with a scrutinizing gaze. Unexpectedly, Victoria shook her head directly. There is no severance package. You don't need to come in tomorrow. Go pack your personal items now. You have 1 hour to leave the building. Your badge access has been revoked. Right now, you can't even go to the bathroom. Do you take me for a rookie? The anger in my heart was thoroughly ignited, and I sneered. Even if you terminate the labor contract, is verbal notice enough? The company must provide me with a stamped and signed written termination notice. Otherwise, if I don't show up, it counts as absenteeism. 3 days of absenteeism, and the company can fire me for cause, and I won't get a dime. Victoria frowned, but her brow quickly smoothed out. She continued in an icy tone. I can give you a written termination notice. But there is no severance. If you're dissatisfied with this result, you can consider arbitration or filing a lawsuit. The legal department is ready anytime. Is it because you've successfully stiffed employees on compensation before, so you're fearless? I continued to sneer. Because arbitration and lawsuits take too long, months, maybe a year, and cost money for lawyers. You're counting on fired employees having no money for legal fees, so you force them to sign these unfair terms without severance. Some people just swallow the insult. As long as you know, seeing I'd seen through it, Victoria no longer hid it. There was even a trace of smugness between her brows. I suggest you don't fight the company. It does you no good. Even if you win arbitration or sue and get the money, will that money last a lifetime? Don't you need to find another job? If you fail the background check, what company would dare hire you? Besides, HR departments in different companies talk to each other and share resources. Don't narrow your future path. To make it easier for you to find a job later, I suggest you write a resignation letter yourself. That way, other companies will think you left voluntarily, not that you were fired. My eyes widened, a look of disbelief in them. I'm your husband. It feels like you're plotting against me for the company the way you'd plot against a stranger. What benefit do you get from this? Even if you're just following orders, couldn't you consider me for a second? Is this job more important to you than your own husband and family? Although I had long realized Victoria was a career-driven woman with an almost paranoid obsession with promotions, I didn't expect her to be this deranged. Her loyalty to the company actually surpassed our marriage. It was almost inhuman. Sure enough, Victoria frowned again after hearing my words. I told you, this is work hours, business only. Personal feelings can wait until after work. The layoffs to cut costs were decided by the board and must be strictly executed. I can't show you mercy just because you're my husband. That would damage my image as a professional manager and my ethics. Hearing this, I understood. Victoria intended to treat me as a typical case study to establish her image of impartiality. My unemployment was just a stepping stone for her corporate climb. Thinking of this, deep disappointment and disgust for Victoria welled up inside me. I had no desire to continue talking to her. Fine, have it your way. I stood up and said to Victoria in a nearly indifferent tone, the company must give me a written termination notice and pay severance according to labor laws and my years of service. Otherwise, I will do everything in my power to defend my legal rights. I will never compromise with unscrupulous managers like you. Whatever. Victoria sneered nonchalantly. Whether you arbitrate or sue, the company will fight to the end. I ignored Victoria, walked out of the conference room, and went back to my cubicle to start packing. Victoria then did something incredibly disgusting. She called 2 security guards to watch me pack and smugly ordered them. He has been fired. Watch him pack his personal items and strictly check what he takes out. If he takes company property by mistake, it would cause a misunderstanding. After giving instructions, Victoria didn't even look at me. She walked away in her high heels like a proud peacock. This sudden event shocked the entire sales department. As the manager, I was technically mid-level leadership, yet I was fired without warning. And my own wife handled it personally, leaving me no dignity. The hidden story behind this instantly piqued everyone's interest. Manager Caleb was doing so well. Why was he suddenly fired? What we do now, he was our direct supervisor. Isn't that HR manager, Victoria Sterling, Caleb Miller's wife? Why isn't she siding with her husband at all? He gets fired, and she looks happy and proud. You don't know? Let me tell you. 2 subordinates immediately lowered their voices and whispered. I listened to the discussion without making a sound, packing my things expressionlessly. Up to this point, not a single subordinate came to comfort me. They didn't even dare to come up and say a word, seemingly afraid I would implicate them and cause them to lose their jobs, even though I usually took great care of them. Not only did I teach and train them personally, but I also fought red-faced with relevant departments to get them benefits. But now that I was facing layoffs, these employees who usually surrounded me with flattery didn't say a word to me, let alone speak up for me. The tea goes cold before the person even leaves. This is society and human nature. Actually, I had heard the rumors they were discussing about Victoria. I just hadn't wanted to believe them. My love and trust for Victoria made me deceive myself into thinking she was just paranoid about her career, not that she would betray our relationship. But judging by Victoria's attitude today, I was dead wrong. You can't wake a person who is pretending to be asleep. It was time for my self-deceptive dream to end. I finally finished packing my personal items into a cardboard box. Just as I walked out of the company's main entrance holding the box, I heard a familiar voice behind me. Manager Miller, wait a second. I turned around and saw it was Maya Brooks, a newcomer in the department who had just passed her probation. Maya had graduated recently, was slim and sweet-looking, and was the secret crush of the guys in the department. She was a fast learner and ambitious, and her skills improved quickly. I had treated her as a key talent to develop and gave her plenty of extra coaching. At this critical juncture, seeing her dare to chase me out to talk, I felt quite gratified. At least she had more conscience and backbone than the group of cowards inside. Why did you come out? Be careful not to get dragged down because of me. I warned carefully. Actually, talking to me didn't matter. Victoria had already let slip that our whole department would be cut. Because the project was done, the company wanted to save a huge chunk of bonus money. In the face of profit, human relationships stand aside. So what? Maya looked unconcerned. It's just a job. If I lose it, I'll find another. Even if they fire you, manager, they should have some heart, at least hold a farewell party, right? You served the company for so many years. If they fire me just because I said a few words to you, then this company isn't worth much, and leaving early is better. Maya looked indignant. Besides, manager, you've always taken care of me. There's something I have to say today because it's been bottled up in my heart for a long time. If you don't mind, shall we grab a coffee downstairs? I felt a touch of emotion and smiled at her. Don't call me manager anymore. I'm not a manager now. I actually have something to tell you too. Sitting in the cafe, Maya added milk to her coffee, stirring it with a spoon while probing tentatively. Actually, I've kept this secret for a while, hesitating whether to tell you. Hearing Maya's words, my heart skipped a beat. I vaguely guessed the secret she mentioned, but I feigned calm. What secret? Go ahead. It's just, one night, I worked really late. Through the crack of the conference room door, which wasn't fully closed, I saw Vice President Gavin Pierce and HR Manager Victoria kissing passionately. I even secretly recorded a video. Maya stopped there, cautiously watching my expression. Seeing my expression was flat, she felt surprised. Did you already know? I hesitated to tell you. If I told you, I feared it would cause you mental trauma and pain. If I didn't, it felt unfair to you. In that instant, I felt my whole heart seizing up. The heartache made me frown deeply, and my body couldn't help but tremble slightly. Worry appeared in Maya's eyes. Are you okay? I'm fine. I shook my head and took a deep breath. Since you told me a secret, in return, I'll tell you one. Everyone in our department is going to be cut. Prepare yourself early so you aren't caught off guard. Also, it looks like the company won't pay severance this time. You need to be mentally prepared for that too. It's fine. Maya waved her hand, still acting nonchalant. After today, I see through this company. This job doesn't matter to me. But are you really okay? Maya paused, asking with concern. Do you want to cry or get drunk? I'll accompany you. You must let it out when you're depressed. Keeping it in is bad for your health. I'm really fine. I suppressed the turmoil inside me like crashing waves and looked at Maya calmly. No matter what, thank you. No need to thank me. Maya blinked her big, watery eyes and said rather emotionally, You were a good boss, took care of your subordinates. If your new job needs people later, please take me with you. Okay. I picked up my cup, drained the coffee, and stood up. I'll be in touch. We have each other's contact info anyway. You really don't want to drink? Maya stood up too, trying to persuade me. No, I have things to handle. Once everything is settled, we'll get drunk properly. It's a promise. Maya smiled like a flower, extending her pinky finger to swear on it, her beautiful eyes full of childlike anticipation. This girl is pretty cute. I forced a smile and waved at her. Goodbye. Oh, remember to send me that video you took. Sitting in the driver's seat, I received the video from Maya. It was obscene. I watched a small segment and couldn't continue. Flames of anger danced in my eyes, and my breathing became heavy and rapid. I really didn't expect that for the position of HR director, Victoria would betray our marriage and throw herself into the arms of the company VP, Gavin Pierce. Calm down, calm down. Driving with negative emotions is too dangerous. I managed to calm myself down. Just as I was about to drive away from the office building, I received a call from my biological father, Silas Thorne. Whether you want to admit it or not, it doesn't change the fact that you are my son. The DNA test has proven that the blood flowing in your veins is the same as mine. Losing you back then was indeed my fault. Having no chance to care for you all these years makes me feel incredibly guilty. I hope you can give me a chance to make it up to you. As long as you are willing to come back to the family, you can name any condition. Think about it. Mr. Thorne, my head is a mess right now. Give me some time to think. I'll give you an answer when I'm ready. Okay. Silas Thorne on the other end sharply sensed something. Did something happen? Nothing. It's my own business. I'll handle it. Okay, take your time. I'm very busy and might not answer the phone promptly. When you've decided, call Harrison, the butler who found you before. Okay, understood. Goodbye. I hung up and drove away. Parking in the underground garage, I returned home. This 1,000 square foot, 3-bedroom condo was bought with my savings from years of work, plus some money borrowed from my adoptive father for the down payment. The developer included a finished interior, but I wasn't satisfied, so I paid to renovate it again. Victoria was completely hands-off regarding the renovation and furnishing, never caring about these things. In her eyes, there was only work. The bed, the sofa, the double-door fridge, I selected them all carefully. Looking at everything in the room, I felt a myriad of emotions. What was once a warm sanctuary now felt incredibly oppressive, even evoking a sense of disgust and nausea. Let all end here. I sighed and started packing. I didn't want to live here anymore. After packing, I felt tired, so I napped on the sofa. In a daze, I heard someone unlocking the digital lock. I sat up groggy. The moment the door opened, click, the living room light was switched on. Seeing me, Victoria let out a yelp, then scolded. Are you trying to scare someone to death? Why didn't you turn on the lights? I ignored her. I checked my watch. It was already 11 p.m. Is it really necessary? You just lost a job. Victoria saw I wasn't responding and assumed I was still angry about the firing. She switched faces and started comforting me, a real Jekyll and Hyde vibe. That was the board's decision. I couldn't change it. And this is a critical period for my promotion to HR director. I definitely can't give you special treatment just because you're my husband. Everyone in the company is watching. If I played favorites, they'd slash my tires behind my back, and I'd lose this promotion chance. Victoria kept explaining, sounding quite self-righteous, but I had lost interest in her words. I waved my hand. Whether you get promoted is your business. It has nothing to do with me. Don't tell me this. I don't want to hear it. You're a grown man. Can you not be so petty? Victoria chastised, then probed. Are you really planning to arbitrate and sue? That is my business. It has nothing to do with you, and I don't want to discuss it with you. My cold attitude shocked Victoria. Since we had been together, I had always been obedient to her and never spoke to her in this tone. I suggest you don't do that, because it will affect my future at the company. Leadership said this layoff is a test for my promotion to director. As long as I handle it properly, the promotion is basically in the bag. You don't need to ruin my career path for a little compensation. Besides, making it too ugly won't help you find a job. Listening to Victoria, The last shred of illusion in my heart vanished. They say a night of marriage equals 100 days of grace. I had been married to Victoria for 3 years, but from start to finish, it was unrequited. She never cared about me or my feelings. Even now that I was maliciously fired and lost my bonus and severance, she only cared about her own promotion. Saying this, Victoria kicked off her high heels, took off her bag, and plopped onto the sofa. I'm exhausted today. I haven't even eaten yet. Go make me a bowl of noodles, add a fried egg. Make it yourself if you're hungry. He glanced at her coldly. My eyes no longer held any pity or doting, only disgust and impatience. My attitude surprised Victoria greatly. Usually, I did whatever she wanted and never disobeyed her like this. Did you forget who wears the pants here? Victoria picked up a glass of water from the coffee table and splashed it directly on me, roaring with a ferocious expression. You dare talk to me with that tone? You're rebelling. In the workplace, Victoria appeared very professional and rational, never losing control in public. This wasn't because she had a good temper. It was because most of the time, afraid she would get sick from anger, I willingly acted as her punching bag. Over time, Victoria developed an extremely domineering personality in front of me. I wiped my face. I was soaked. Just as Victoria thought, I would submit and coax her. I picked up the pitcher from the coffee table, removed the lid, and under her gaze, poured the water from the pitcher directly over Victoria's head. Victoria never expected I would pull a stunt like this and froze on the spot. She became a drowned rat. After a while, she reacted, crying and screaming hysterically. Caleb Miller, are you f***ing crazy? You uneducated piece of... Victoria always prided herself on being intellectual and elegant, but this time she swore loudly and tried to scratch me with her claws. I pushed her to the floor. You talk about education, splashing water on people? You shrew. When I loved and spoiled you, you were the apple of my eye. When you take my love for granted, show no gratitude, and trample on my dignity, you are nothing to me. Victoria struggled up from the floor, crying pearly tears, and roared hysterically. I want a divorce. You trash. Get out of here now. I had packed and was ready to leave, intending to leave the apartment to Victoria, but hearing this, I changed my mind. Are you joking? I bought this place before we married. I pay the mortgage alone. Even if your name was added after marriage, you have no right to kick me out. Caleb, are you even a man? Even if I'm not a man, I won't let a woman like you off easy. Do you think I don't know about you and Gavin Pierce? I showed the video Maya sent me directly to Victoria. We are divorcing because of your infidelity. You're the party at fault. What right do you have to fight for this house? So what if you know about me and Vice President Pierce? You trash. You can't compare to a single hair on Gavin's head. Victoria was stunned at first upon seeing the video, but quickly understood everything. She realized my change in attitude wasn't because of the layoffs, but because I found out about her affair. Realizing the jig was up, Victoria attacked me personally. Gavin is highly valued by the board for his outstanding ability and is about to be promoted to general manager. And you're just an unemployed bum about to lose his job. How do you think I should choose? You say that as if Gavin is going to marry you. I couldn't help but sneer. You don't need to worry about that, you trash. Associating her future with Gavin, Victoria looked proud and happy. Gavin has already promised to divorce his wife and be with me. The love between us isn't something an incompetent loser like you can imagine. If it weren't for the fact that you were obedient, I would have kicked you to the curb long ago. Do you know why you were the first to be cut? Because Gavin doesn't like you. A piece of trash whose future and fate are held in someone else's hands dares to judge Gavin. Ha ha, do you know who Gavin's wife is? And he dares to be with someone else. I couldn't help laughing out loud. You don't really think Gavin got the VP position on his own ability, do you? His wife, Eleanor Vance, is the company's second largest shareholder and vice chairwoman. Do you think a man who climbed the ladder thanks to his wife has the guts to leave her and marry you? If Eleanor finds out you're secretly involved with Gavin, I estimate the next person packing their bags will be you. My words made Victoria turn pale, her voice trembling and distorted. How do you know this? Do you think I'll believe a story you just made up? Keep dreaming. Although Victoria said she didn't believe it, the fear and doubt in her eyes betrayed her. As an HR manager, you lack even this basic awareness. I truly feel pathetic for you. I looked at Victoria with sympathy, having no desire to talk to her anymore. I opened the door directly and walked out, wandering around the garden next to the complex. After hesitating for a long time, I took out my phone and dialed a number. Harrison, please tell my dad I'm willing to return to the Thorne family. On the other end, Harrison's voice revealed a joy bordering on tears. Wonderful young master, you've finally come around, and are willing to reconcile with the master. Since you were taken by traffickers, the master never gave up looking for you. He also feels regret and guilt for not being able to help and support you during your growing years. Therefore, he is willing to use everything he has now to compensate you, as long as you don't resent him. After all, you are blood. There's nothing you can't get past. Young master, where are you now? I'll send someone to pick you up immediately. I'm at the Central Park next to Riverview Heights. I gave my address and hung up. Taking a deep breath, I looked up at the brilliant starry sky, my chaotic thoughts scattering in all directions. I am the biological son of Silas Thorne, chairman of the Fortune 500 company, Thorne Global. Only my adoptive father and I knew this. Even Victoria was clueless. At that time, a convoy of luxury cars appeared in front of me. A middle-aged man in a suit stepped out of the suicide doors of a Rolls-Royce Ghost, introduced himself as the Thorne family butler, and handed me a card. When he told me I was Silas Thorne's only son, I thought he was a scammer. But then I thought a scammer wouldn't be this rich, so I agreed to the DNA test. When the results came out, I was stunned. The DNA proved I really was Silas Thorne's son. When I took the results back home to ask my adoptive father, Frank, he admitted it, explaining that because he always wanted a boy, he bought me from traffickers to raise. Although Frank had lied to me for 20-some years, looking back, he had treated me like his own son and never mistreated me. So not only did I not resent him, I wanted to repay him for raising me. But facing Silas Thorne's request for me to return, I was hesitant and conflicted. Having grown up in an ordinary rural family, I was used to an ordinary life. Suddenly having my identity turned upside down made me feel out of place. But now I suddenly figured it out. Because I wanted revenge. 5. Soon, my biological father, Silas, and Harrison arrived at the park next to the complex. The convoy made up of Rolls-Royces, Bentleys, and Maybachs stopped by the road at the park entrance. It was a spectacular sight, attracting many passers-by to stop and take photos. The crowd's whispers were full of envy and jealousy. Another lucky guy born with a silver spoon. Yeah, some are born in Rome, some are born as cattle. The biggest watershed in life is amniotic fluid. Being gawked at was fine, but the explosive scene of a billionaire reclaiming his son couldn't be leaked. So before I met my father, over a dozen bodyguards completely surrounded my location. At the same time, the bodyguards stopped several passers-by who were secretly filming with phones, demanding they delete the photos and videos. The moment Silas saw me, he gripped my hand tightly. A titan in the business world, he completely lost his composure, hot tears spilling from his eyes onto the back of my hand. Son, you finally thought it through. Silas's voice was choked and trembling. All these years, I kept the promise I made to you, not disturbing your life. But in my heart, I hoped every moment for you to come back. Come back with me, and I'll make up for all the debts of these years. Over the years, Dad has built a massive business empire worth trillions. You are the sole heir. Now I can rest easy because the business has a successor. Don't worry about your adoptive father. You can still honor him. After all, he raised you, if not for merit, then for the hard work. I'm the sole heir. I was surprised by my father's words. For a tycoon like him, countless women must be crying and throwing themselves at him. After I was kidnapped, my biological mother died of illness from grief a few years later. With Dad's conditions, didn't he remarry? Hearing my question, Silas looked embarrassed and glanced warily around. The surrounding bodyguards and Harrison turned their heads away, seemingly avoiding something. Seeing this, Silas leaned in close to me and lowered his voice. Shortly after I lost you, I was in a car accident. I survived, but I lost the ability to have children forever. Maybe this is heaven's punishment for me. Son, just know this in your heart. Don't say it out loud and embarrass Dad. Okay. I suppressed my shock and nodded seriously. I won't mention it. Good boy. Silas was very happy and patted my shoulder with his large hand. Let's go home. Although I was prepared, knowing my biological father was very rich and his place must be fancy, the moment I saw the residence, I felt my imagination was too limited. The saying is true. Poverty restricted my imagination. I thought the Thorne family lived in a massive downtown penthouse, or a standalone villa. But I didn't expect my father's place to be a landscaped estate with pavilions, rockeries, lakes, and even a golf course and helipad. It occupied fully 33 acres, with over 400 staff and security. Dad, you live here? Yes. Silas beamed. From now on, you live here too. This is your property. I couldn't help but gasp. How much is this estate worth? Well, I spent $5 billion buying it. Now it's probably worth over $3 billion. Silas patted my shoulder again. Dad said he'd compensate you. This is just the start. Not just this $3 billion estate. The trillion-dollar Thorn Global Group will be yours. If you want to manage the company, you can try. If you have no interest, we'll hire professional managers. The shares in your hand can be sold anytime to do whatever you like. There are hundreds of luxury cars in the garage. Rolls-Royce, Ferrari, McLaren, Bentley. You could drive a different one every day and not repeat for a year. The walk-in closet in the bedroom is full of designer clothes and shoes, plus Patek Philippe watches. If you like jewelry, the vault has imperial jade and piles of gold bars. If you like art, Dad has collected plenty of antiques and famous paintings. The estate employs 10 top Chinese chefs and 5 top Western chefs, covering all major world cuisines. Tell the butler what you want. Even a Manchuhan imperial feast can be served on time. Silas rattled on, then asked me, "Son, what else do you want? Just tell Dad. Dad will do his best to compensate you." "Dad, I'm very satisfied with everything, but right now I want to vent some anger." I hesitated, then spoke my true thoughts. "Oh." Silas was instantly interested. "Who dare to bully my son? Tell me. Dad will get justice for you." I told Silas the whole story from start to finish. Victoria's affair, plotting with Gavin to fire me, and cheating me out of my bonus and severance. Silas was first incredulous, then roared like an enraged lion. Someone really dared to bully my son like that. They must have eaten a bear's heart and a leopard's gall. "Which company were you at?" "I was at Apex Tech Components, a company mainly assembling consumer electronics parts." As soon as I finished, Silas spoke directly. "Harrison, look up this Apex Tech." "Yes, master." Harrison was my father's deeply trusted confidant, as seen by his address. Others called my father chairman, but only he called him master. Harrison was very efficient. Just 10 minutes later, he walked into the estate's vast drawing room with a stack of documents. "Master, it's confirmed. Apex Tech was founded in 2015. Its main business is R&D, design, production, and sales of smart terminal structural parts and precision molds. It covers smart home, smartphones, and wearables. The largest shareholder is Marcus Green, holding 53%, the actual controller. The second shareholder is Eleanor Vance, holding 20%. Apex Tech has some trade dealings with the group's subsidiaries, but the scale is small. Their CEO wants to deepen cooperation with the group, but their company is too small and not an ideal partner, so they've been rejected multiple times." After listening, Silas immediately ordered Harrison, "Make an appointment with Apex Tech's CEO, Marcus Green. Say, I have a partnership to discuss." When Marcus Green heard that Silas Thorn, chairman of Thorn Global, wanted to discuss a partnership, he couldn't believe it was true. After confirming the news, he felt overwhelmed by the honor. He canceled all his appointments and rushed to meet my father as fast as he could. I was arranged to attend this meeting too. Although I had worked in his company for years, as the chairman, he wouldn't remember a small department manager like me. When he learned I was Silas Thorn's only son and would inherit the vast Thorn empire, he immediately flashed a flattering, sycophantic smile. "Chairman Thorn, your son is young and promising. Thorn Global will surely continue to scale peaks in his hands. Let's cut the small talk," Silas said straightforwardly. "I called you here today because I have a favor to ask. If the result satisfies us father and son, the group's subsidiary, Thorn Electronics, will start deep cooperation with your company, transferring huge orders for smart home and wearable tech to you. But if this isn't handled well, forget about our cooperation, and your company probably won't get orders in the industry anymore." My father's words carried an overbearing threat, freezing the smile on Marcus's face. His eyes flashed with deep fear and awe. He took a deep breath. "Chairman Thorn, just name your terms." Accurately speaking, his expression was complex. Besides fear and anxiety, there was a hidden excitement and anticipation. Marcus, having swum in the business ocean for decades, knew risk and reward were companions. Silas's harsh tone meant the request wasn't simple, but if handled well, he would get huge orders from Thorn Electronics. Thorn Electronics was the leader in smart home and devices. If his company got their orders, it would skyrocket. Let my son tell you. After all, he worked at your company before and knows the situation. Hearing this, Marcus looked confused. I worked at his company? An heir to a trillion-dollar group went to work at a small company like that? Was it to experience life? After I narrated the events, Marcus understood instantly. He quickly said, "Mr. Miller, there must be a misunderstanding. When I held the board meeting, we did determine a policy of layoffs and cost-cutting, but the targets were redundant staff. Your sales department, one, just secured a big order and are heroes of the company. We definitely wouldn't burn bridges and fire your whole department for a little bonus. This must be subordinates abusing their power to target you personally. It absolutely wasn't my intent. Marcus was definitely a slick operator, washing his hands of responsibility in a few sentences. But right now, I didn't care about pursuing his responsibility. I could use his eagerness to find a scapegoat to crush that adulterous couple, Gavin and Victoria. Silas curled his lip in a meaningful smile. My son was bullied. This cannot end simply. I need you to cooperate with my son to vent this anger. If you cooperate well, the orders are yours. If not, no deal. Marcus knew the stakes. He immediately agreed. Chairman, rest assured, I will cooperate fully. Next, Marcus and I discussed some details of the revenge against Gavin and Victoria. After ensuring no omissions, I let Marcus leave. After Marcus left, Silas ordered Harrison again. Investigate Victoria and Gavin thoroughly. Dig up their dark history, even if it's dodging subway fares or spitting in public. I'm interested in any dirt, daring to bully my sons so openly. I want them to have nothing, their reputations ruined, living a life worse than death. After the revenge details were settled, Silas still had Harrison check everything about them to prevent missing any info. He warned me seriously, son, the counterattack against enemies must be merciless and meticulous. Want it to kill, leave him no chance to flip the table. You will encounter all kinds of enemies in life. When preparation isn't enough, endure. When everything is ready, deliver a thunderous blow instantly. Either don't do it, or do it absolutely. I nodded seriously. Dad, I know. With Harrison's tireless efforts, a piece of explosive news was finally dug up. Gavin had bet his entire savings of $1.5 million, plus leveraged fund from a financing firm at a 1-to-3 ratio, totaling about $6 million, to buy a stock called Aurora Biopharma. Aurora Biopharma was currently suspended for restructuring. Gavin raising funds to buy big before the suspension clearly meant he had insider info. It was said that $200,000 of that money was Victoria's life savings. Hearing this, I looked grim. In 3 years of marriage, I paid for everything, including support for both sets of parents. Victoria didn't pay a cent. I didn't expect the stingy Victoria to give $200,000 to Gavin to play the stock market. Son, what do you want to do? My eyes went cold instantly. I want them to lose everything on this stock, preferably ending up in debt, so they can never recover. Bye. I took a deep breath and added, just using Marcus for revenge isn't enough. That just loses them their jobs. Only by destroying their money in the market can I truly hurt them. Making them penniless and debt-ridden, working to pay debts for life, will satisfy my hatred. Before that, 2 things must happen. I thought and said, I must divorce Victoria. I'm inheriting so much. I don't want that woman getting a dime. Also, Gavin must divorce his wife. She is the second shareholder of Apex Tech, worth millions. If I don't divorce, those are joint assets, and a loss of a few million won't ruin him. Ha ha ha, truly my son, you have my style. Silas laughed and patted my shoulder, seemingly very satisfied. Then he asked with interest, how will you make Victoria willing to divorce, and make Eleanor and Gavin divorce? I have the video of their affair. I'll threaten divorce with it, demanding Victoria leave with nothing. If she refuses, I'll send the video to Eleanor. To save their jobs and reputations, they'll agree. Once I successfully divorce, I'll give the evidence to Eleanor, then have Marcus pressure her. Gavin will likely have to accept a clean break divorce too. Once they divorce, they'll find job loss and stock crash waiting for them. It will destroy them. Excellent plan, seamless. Silas looked at me with approval. I wasn't worried about your ability. Those can be learned. I worried you'd be laughably kind. Business is war. Being too kind only kills yourself. Now I believe you can guard my legacy. As for the stock, leave it to me. Aurora Biopharma is suspended, expecting to resume trading in a month. The group's investment arm trades heavily in the secondary market. Their portfolio happens to include a lot of Aurora shares. I'll order them to short Aurora with full force, driving the price down to a level Gavin can't handle, forcing a margin call, not only swallowing their principal, but leaving them in debt. The subsequent plans went very smoothly. Because I held evidence of the affair, my divorce with Victoria went incredibly fast. Victoria had to sign the agreement, forced to leave with nothing. The $200,000 she transferred to Gavin was joint property. I instructed lawyers to reclaim half, $100,000. Since taking over Thorn Group, this money was nothing to me. But I didn't want Victoria to have it. Although my divorce went well, Gavin and Eleanor's divorce stalled. Just as I was puzzled, Marcus Green visited to reassure me. Eleanor knows about the affair. She hasn't filed yet to coordinate with your plan. Mr. Miller, everything is ready. Shall we start the revenge plan? Hearing revenge plan, my heart raced with excitement. I took a deep breath and nodded. Let's start. Seeing me agree, Marcus was overjoyed. He shook my hand. Mr. Miller, no time like the present. Let's do it tomorrow. Tomorrow, Aurora resumes trading, and Apex Tech holds its monthly meeting. It's the day with the most people. Eleanor and I will cooperate fully to crush their arrogance. Good, tomorrow it is. The first Monday of every month was a big day at Apex Tech, the monthly all-hands meeting. Everyone had to attend in the main conference room. It was crucial, with department heads speaking and high-level execs attending. Victoria and Gavin sat in the front row. Although Victoria was divorced and free, Gavin was still married, so they didn't sit together to avoid suspicion. Victoria dimmed her phone screen to text Gavin. I am divorced. When will you divorce your wife and marry me? Gavin received the text, looked around warily, then rubbed his temples, dimming his screen to reply. I'm negotiating with her. Please wait a bit. Victoria replied quickly. I couldn't see the content due to the camera angle, but judging by her happy, expectant face hugging the phone, she was satisfied with his promise. Monitoring them from the security room, I almost laughed out loud. Victoria, the idiot, was still being fooled by Gavin's sweet words. Marcus stood beside me, smiling sycophantically. Don't worry, they'll be humiliated in front of everyone soon. Mr. Miller, it's your turn. You're the lead actor. Eleanor and I will step in at the right moment. Okay, time for my entrance. When I appeared in the conference room, everyone was shocked. Manager Miller? Wasn't he fired? Why is he at the meeting? Is he here to demand his bonus and severance? Rumor has it he got nothing. He must be resentful. But his badge is deactivated. How did he get in? My appearance was like a boulder crashing into a calm lake. But glancing around, I noticed that apart from Maya, none of my former subordinates greeted me. They avoided eye contact, as if looking at me would invite trouble. The most surprised were Victoria and Gavin. Gavin's jaw dropped. Victoria, after a brief shock, stormed over to me angrily. Caleb, what the hell are you doing? You were fired. Why are you in the conference room? He glanced at her coldly. To attend the meeting, obviously. Funny question. Bullshit. Victoria seemed enraged by my presence, forgetting her elegant image and swearing. Don't think I don't know why you're here. You want to make a scene to get that money. You were a manager. How can you be so shameless? If you have an issue, use legal channels. Why use such low tactics? And how did you get in? Did someone open the door for you? Get out, or I'll call security. Gavin also spoke up. Caleb, I understand your feelings, but you can't express your demands this way. This is trespassing. At this, most of the mid to high management started denouncing me. Even my former subordinates joined in. Exactly. Fired and still making trouble? So low class. Use the law if you're aggrieved. How is someone with this character a manager? I'm ashamed to be his colleague. Security? Call security. This meeting is confidential. I seem to be a rat everyone wanted to beat. Victoria and Gavin looked smug. Bang. Suddenly, a loud noise stopped the noise. Everyone looked and saw Maya had smashed her teacup on the floor. Maya, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Someone glared at her. I'm not crazy. You're the crazy ones. Maya showed no fear, retorting angrily. Manager Miller was a dedicated employee who created brilliant results. You treat a veteran contributor like this. Aren't you afraid of chilling everyone's hearts? And you lot. Maya turned her fire on my former subordinates. A bunch of ingrates. How did Caleb train you and fight for you? You curse him instead of thanking him. Scum. So what if he's here for his money? Can't you understand? If you get fired without severance one day, do you want this treatment? Idiots. Victoria immediately scolded Maya. What's with you? Do you want to quit? I wanted to quit this trash company for ages. Maya's move drew the fire onto herself, muddying the waters. This girl is spicy brave. A warmth surged in my heart, and I looked at her with approval. I'll deal with you later. Victoria glared at Maya, then targeted me again. Clarify right now, whose badge did you use? Or I'll call security and the police. Call security? I raised an eyebrow, looking at Victoria with amusement and mockery. I'm afraid you don't have the authority. Not just you, no one in this room has that authority. Hearing this, Victoria and Gavin didn't get angry. They laughed. Their laughter was contagious, and soon most of the room was laughing. I've seen shameless people, but never this shameless. Who does he think he is? The chairman? Hilarious, a fire manager talking big. Did losing his job drive him crazy? Even my former subordinates were mocking me while attacking me verbally. It was as if attacking me was their ticket to keeping their jobs. Facing the ridicule, I calmly took out my phone and texted Marcus. I've set the mood. Your turn. Showtime. Yes, Mr. Miller. With the appearance of Apex Tech Chairman Marcus Green, the noise stopped. Marcus looked around, frowned, and asked in a low voice, "What's going on? Why is the meeting like a wet market?" Gavin immediately approached with a flattering smile. "Chairman, it's a small incident caused by his appearance." Gavin pointed at me with disdain. He was the manager of Sales 1, fired already. He used someone's badge to sneak in for ulterior motives. Fired? Marcus raised an eyebrow. What was the reason? Did he violate regulations or fail sales targets? Marcus pretended to recall. In my memory, sales department 1 under manager Miller always performed well and was commended. Gavin was dumbfounded. He regretted jumping out to step on me. He didn't expect the chairman to pay attention to such small matters, or to have such a good impression of me. Gavin didn't know how to explain, so he dumped the pot on Victoria. HR manager Victoria handled Caleb's termination. She can give you a perfect explanation. He signaled desperately to Victoria. I sneered silently. Firing me was likely Gavin's idea. Victoria protected him by citing board decisions. Now let's see how she explains it to Marcus. Seeing Gavin winking, Victoria knew it was bad, but she had to explain. Chairman, I can't say it. Marcus sneered. I'll say it for you. It's because you hooked up with Gavin for promotion, had an illicit affair, and feared exposure. So you pushed Caleb out. Caleb led his team to get huge orders. You sacrificed a hero for personal gain. It chills the hearts of colleagues. What's more hateful is you fired him without bonus or severance. This damages the company's reputation. Marcus pointed at them. Today I announce, you two are fired. HR processed their exit immediately. The room gasped. They thought I'd be kicked out, but the tables turned instantly. Real life was crazier than drama. Then, Vice Chairwoman Eleanor Vance stormed in. Before they could react, she slapped both of them. Victoria covered her face, too scared to speak. Gavin held his face, begging, "Honey, let me explain." "I don't need your explanation. My lawyer will give you the divorce papers. If you don't sign, I'll sue." Eleanor was cold. "Forgot to tell you, I have a prenup and evidence of your cheating. You leave with nothing. Don't dream of asset division." Gavin looked despairing. Victoria, however, looked thoughtful, shocked. She realized what I said was true. Eleanor was the vice chair. She also realized the situation. Gavin wouldn't divorce before because of money. Now he had to. He might marry her now. And she remembered he had stock money. $6 million in his account, plus insider info. Even if fired, they'd be fine. She grabbed Gavin's arm. "Gavin, don't worry. Divorce her. I'll take care of you. Give you children. We have money. We're better off than this pauper Caleb." Hearing this, Gavin revitalized. "Right, I have money. I don't need this place." He pointed at me. "You won this round, but I'll pay you back 10 times over. Even if you won, I have millions. You're a pauper." Just then, Marcus laughed. "You call him a pauper? Do you know who he is?" Marcus turned serious. "He is the only son of Silas Thorne, chairman of Thorne Global, and the future head of the group. Worth trillions. And you call him a pauper?" Victoria's eyes widened. If anyone else said it, she'd laugh. But this was Marcus Green. At that moment, my father Silas opened the door and walked in. His appearance caused a sensation. The richest man in the country. Silas came to me, patted my shoulder with a fatherly smile, and told everyone, "This is my only son. He will inherit my legacy." Victoria and Gavin's doubts vanished. The room gasped. Trillions? Why don't I have a dad like that? So Manager Miller was experiencing life. He's single, handsome, rich. Victoria must be brain damaged. Dumping a billionaire for a VP. What VP? Gavin offended the Thorne heir. His career is over. The meeting dissolved into gossip. Gavin and Victoria looked desperate. My former subordinates swarmed me, fawning. One even invited me to see her cat. They knew I held their fate. I ignored them and waved to Maya. Others moved aside, envious. Manager Miller, I knew they'd regret it, but didn't expect it so soon. Maya sighed. "Do you want to stay at Apex Tech? Or come to Thorne Global with me?" Maya answered instantly. "With you to Thorne Global? Good, come with me." Just then, Victoria noticed Gavin was pale and shaking. "Gavin, what's wrong? We still have the $6 million. "No, it's gone." Gavin cried. Stock resumed trading and crashed 70%. Margin call. Position liquidated. Principal gone. I owe the financing firm millions. It's over. Victoria froze. I whispered, "Like the gift? You can finally be together. I wish you happiness." I left with Maya. Soon, Gavin divorced penniless. He was sued for debt, beaten, and jailed. I took Maya to the Thorne estate. She was stunned. In the future, I'll be your secretary at work and your housekeeper at home, okay? I agreed. Maya was trustworthy. Harrison handled Dad. Maya handled me. I also had 30 bodyguards and 10 maids. The maids were young, educated, and pretty. Dad's choice/bachelor billionaire trope. They were paid $10K/month. But they were unprofessional, trying to seduce me in the bath. I told Maya. Maya was indignant. I warned them. They all want to be Cinderella. Why not hire older aunties? Your dad's orders. Maya sighed. I lifted her chin. Jealous. I have no right. Maya looked sad. I'm just a secretary. Seeing her sadness, my heart ached. What if I let you have the right? Maya looked surprised. My phone rang. It was Victoria. I blocked it. Then a strange number. I answered. We're divorced. Why call? Hubby. Victoria Craive. I was wrong. Give me a chance. I'll serve you like a slave. I felt sick. Maya grabbed the phone. He has a new girlfriend. I'm his girlfriend. Don't bother him. She hung up and blocked the number. Then she blushed. Sorry, I got carried away. I looked at her with interest. Is that true? You'll have many women. Maya stammered. I'm afraid I can't handle it. You're rich and handsome. That's bias. I fell for you when I was down, and you helped me. I pulled her into my arms. She softened. Let's try dating. Because this estate is too big. I need someone reliable to help manage it. You are that person. I'm asking seriously, are you willing? Maya paused, then nodded seriously. I am.